The Golden State Warriors are scheduled to play the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight at 10 p.m. This game is actually going to be played in the Bay Area on the Warriors' home court. So you would expect that they would have their big three play in this game, but that's not going to be the case tonight. The Warriors have decided to punt on this game. They're going to have Draymond Green just sit out for rest. That's what they report on the injury report. Stephen Curry, they listed ankle issues, and Jimmy Butler is just sick. But from what I've heard, all three of these guys should be available tomorrow when they play the Utah Jazz, which is probably more likely a guaranteed win compared to playing the Thunder. But I have to say, sitting out these three guys against the Thunder really shows how scared they are of the Thunder. The Thunder have beaten them twice this year. Earlier in the season, they blew them out 126 to 102 in OKC. And then they beat them on their home court, I believe, 124 to 112. So they have lost by double digits in both games to OKC. OKC is a tough matchup for them, in which if they ever face them in the playoffs, I don't think they're going to beat them. I'm very confident OKC will destroy the Warriors in a 7-game series. Only hope the Warriors would have is if someone gets injured. That's what it would take for them to have a puncher's chance at beating the Thunder. But with all that being said, we've heard the last year or two that the Warriors still believe they can be a championship team. They can win it all, and that they just need their big three to be healthy come playoff time, and Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, and Stephen Curry. We heard it last year that if Curry didn't get hurt against Minnesota, that they had a good chance of beating the Timberwolves. That's what they believe. So if you really do believe that you're a championship team, why are you trying to duck OKC? They're the defending champs. They're like the measuring stick, the barometer to see whether or not you are for real or if you're not legit. So why are you running scared of OKC? They're a team that if you want to win the championship, you probably will have to go through in the Western Conference, unless you're hoping someone else can take them out, like the Spurs, for example. But still, it makes no sense in that regard, because if you're ducking OKC, then you're not a legit championship contender. That means that you don't really believe in yourself, that you don't think you have a shot against them. That because I remember during the Spurs championship years, they would always show their full team against the Lakers because the Lakers were a rival. But they understood that they had to go through them to get out of the West. And the Lakers were the same way. It was like vice versa during those competitive years during the late 90s and throughout the 2000s. They would always circle those games as like a statement type of game where they want to see how they measured up. And that's usually how it always has been historically in the NBA. Even in a regular season, the contenders always circle games against each other because they want to see how they're going to match up with this team, especially with the possibilities of meeting up in the playoffs. If you're a competitor, you always get up for the champion. So that to me is really a concession for the Warriors, saying like, we can't contend with this team. We don't believe in ourselves. We don't want to get humiliated on a national television game. This game is on Prime. So I'm disappointed that they're not going to play their big three, because I was looking forward to seeing this game simply because I hate the Warriors. I love seeing those three bozos get humiliated, those three clowns, goofballs, as I call them. And it really sucks that they're going to duck a great ass whooping. That would have been very entertaining, but I'm not surprised. I've always viewed the Warriors dynasty as a bunch of front runners. I have never respected them from day one. If you look at even their first title, they really benefited from injuries that the Cavs had that year by not having Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving for that 7-game series. We saw what happened a year later when they played the Cavs. They ended up choking against them. And I think that would have been the end of the Warriors had they not got Kevin Durant. I know some people will say that series was a fluke, that they lost to the Cavs because of what Draymond did. But if it was a fluke, they wouldn't have had to get Kevin Durant. They would have had supreme confidence in themselves to say like, hey, we can beat this team. This team was a fluke. We're going to get them back. We don't take them seriously. But they did. LeBron was in their heads after what he did to them. Same with Kyrie. And they were desperate, so they reached out to Durant. that they felt that was the only chance to save their team from falling apart, because they probably don't ever win a title again if they don't get Durant. I definitely don't believe they would have. I know some people will bring up 2022, but I think 2022 happened because they had regained somewhat of their confidence by winning those two titles with Durant, that it made them feel like champions again. Whereas I don't think they ever regain their confidence if Kevin Durant doesn't join them. So I just always view them as front runners, that they cannot win unless the deck is stacked in their favor. I know people are going to say I'm a hater because I'm a Spurs fan, but I don't even give them credit for the time they beat the Spurs in 2017. That game against the Spurs was horseshit. Kawhi was whooping their ass. They had no answer for him. I saw the looks on their faces on the bench. Draymond, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Durant, they were all sad. They looked fucking depressed. And they had a look of hopelessness on their faces. Like they pretty much had given up in that game up until Kawhi got taken out by Zaza, which again shows that they're a bunch of front runners. They had to send out Zaza to take out Kawhi, and only then they could get their swag back, their cocky, arrogance, all that other stuff. But I know deep down inside that they don't think they probably could have been that Spurs team if Kawhi didn't get hurt. If Kawhi didn't get hurt, they lose. So another example of why I just don't respect them. I've always viewed them as front runners. They got lucky a lot during their dynasty years, especially when they were able to add Durant. If they don't add Durant, they don't have a dynasty, if we're being honest. And even their first title, if Kyrie and Kevin Love don't get hurt, they don't win that championship. So this is an organization that has always been front runners. It starts with their star players and Curry and Draymond, and I don't respect those guys, and they're showing again why I don't respect them, because if you're a true competitor, you would play this fucking game. You would show up for this game. True competitors of the past, they did not duck guys. They actually faced them man to man. Like I just don't get this generation, and I'm not that much older than Draymond and Steph. I'm only like several years older. I'm an elder millennial, but it's really, really pathetic that the competition in the NBA has gotten to this point where guys are ducking certain opponents because they fear humiliation. And this is just another example of it. And this is like a veteran team, but they're not true competitors like guys like Michael, Tim Duncan, Hakeem, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Kareem, those types of guys. Like they don't have that spirit of competition. And I don't have anything else to say about this. That's pretty much it.